and they are the very and stopping the violence. So today, this discussion on stopping the violence, I feel, is probably one of the most important sessions of the conference. It is important because ending the violence against women and children is one of Falco's goals. This committee on ending the violence that we have within the Falco organization was started by our president, Lee Lin, in 2008, I believe. And it was headed the last 2 years by Tanya Reichardt and Karen Lewis. So, being up here today, I thank them for their advice, because I'm constantly learning from everybody. It is important for another reason, because just recently, about 4 weeks ago in Ireland, I opened up the news, the headline, a woman found dead in the Wicklow Mountains. That's right near me. And this woman was only 19 years old. She was from Romania. And she was used and abused by gangsters. That's the only way I can put it, gangsters in Ireland. And left in such a poor condition with, you could see the torture that she went through, they said in the autopsy. So this is why we're having this panel today. People are still not aware. Another reason, people are still not aware of what the word sex trafficking means. Last night, while we were having a nice night's sleep, we're not talking about the ones who stayed out late drinking, but having a few. But while we were having a nice night's sleep, and we were in Never Never Land, there were probably women that did not want to be in the sex trafficking ring, being moved from one county in Ireland to another. They're scared for their life. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to get out of this. And I say women, it's not only women, it's children we're talking about, that come to this country, come to the United States, come to England, come to all the countries you're in, and they think they're going to get such a wonderful job here. And they're put into this forced prostitution, and they're scared for their lives and their families to get out of that road. So today, without further ado, I think I'm talking too much probably, I would like to introduce our panel moderator, Susan McKay. And she's quite a fascinating woman. She is an award-winning writer and journalist. She wrote a book, Sophia's Story, Susan McKay, look for that book, okay? And it's a biography of a child abuse survivor. She also wrote a book on the Northern Ireland conflict, Bear in Mind These Days, which was critically acclaimed. In 2009, or I think that was 2011, she resigned from the National Women's Conference of Ireland, because she protested the government's funding cuts. One more. Bear with me, please. I know there are such good speakers before me. I'm a little nervous. Susan has also been a former Northern Ireland editor of the Sunday Tribune. Also has written for Irish Times, The Guardian, among other publications. as well as contributing to many books and journals. She's a well-known commentator on radio and television in Ireland. I don't know what more I can say. She's just a wonderful woman, and all of these women are such wonderful women, and Susan will introduce the rest of the panel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eileen. It's a great privilege and pleasure for all of us to be here today with an audience of fascinating women from all over the world. And I think one thing is certain in terms of everybody who's here, there isn't anybody who's here from a country in which there is not a significant problem of violence against women, because it is a global phenomenon. And I think it is particularly interesting that we'll be talking about trafficking today and the experience of migrant women in an audience like this, which is full of women who have travelled from all over the world and have their own experiences and knowledge of particular international situations. Eileen is right that you've got an amazingly distinguished panel of people here. I don't know how she came to know how to choose these people, but she has certainly chosen a really fantastic lineup of women who know everything that there is to know about this really, really shocking social issue in Ireland. Ireland has levels of domestic and sexual violence which have caused anxiety in the UN and the EU, as well as in the women's movement, which has existed in this country for many, many years. We have a big panel, so I'm not going to talk for very long myself. I'm just going to introduce each member of the panel so that you know the range of people that you have here, and I'm going to introduce them fairly briefly. I'm going to start over at the far end of the panel. This is not necessarily the order they'll speak, but just so that you know who's who. Margaret Martin is on the far right of the table there. Margaret has been the director of Women's Aid, which is the organisation which works with women experiencing domestic violence. She's been the director of Women's Aid since 2004. She's responsible for developing the organisation long-term, exploring new ideas, leading change and creating future possibilities. She's got a team of 5 managers, 33 staff and 40 volunteers. And Women's Aid actually started in Dublin in, I think, 1974, and they had one 4-bedroom suburban house, which I think at one stage had something like 150 people in it, something absolutely ridiculous. And the organisation has grown since then into a highly professional and effective organisation that it is today. Women's Aid provides services to women experiencing domestic violence, primarily through its free phone national helpline and direct support services. And it also has a website which is translated into 7 languages, which is very appropriate in the Ireland of today, which is very much a multicultural society. Women's Aid has actually been really innovative in the type of approaches that it has made to women. For example, it has brought in appropriate approaches for young women using mobile phones and so on. So it's very, very responsive to the needs of women in Ireland. Just next to Margaret is Ellen O'Malley Dunlop, and Ellen is the CEO of the Dublin Rape Crisis Centre, which again is one of the really venerable organisations which has been around since the late 1970s. And in fact, I wrote the history of the Dublin Rape Crisis Centre, which is something which has been taken many, many twists and turns, but of which it can be said that the organisation has always struggled to survive against serious underfunding and lack of recognition from the state as to the extent of the problems. Ellen is a wonderful leader of the organisation. She is a psychotherapist, a group analyst and a folklorist. She's of some of you who would no doubt being of American origin will be aware of the O'Malley clan, and Ellen is a great leader of that clan in this country, and a very formidable woman indeed. She was a founder member of the Irish Institute of Psychoanalytic Psychotherapy and chair of the Irish Council for Psychotherapy from 1999 to 2001. She's lobbied for changes in law and supports to include the rights of the child in the Irish Constitution. She's involved in a group which has been charged by the Minister for Children with working on that at the moment. It's a very, very important piece of legislative and constitutional change which is coming about in Ireland to actually give children rights, which is something that at the moment they don't actually have. And Eileen mentioned my book, Sophia's Story, and that was one of the issues for that family, that children in this country